Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jadisola Billions. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jadisola Billions. For new subscribers, welcome. Where have you been? Returning subscribers, thank you so much for always tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about something very interesting, right? I'm going to be spilling all the tea of how I migrated from Nigeria to the United Kingdom as a nurse. Right, if this is something you're interested in, why don't you grab your chair and sit tight, because it's going to be a beautiful ride. And so don't forget, like this video, do well to subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever a new video drops. So let's jump right in. So I qualified in Nigeria as a nurse in 2019, right? So I finished my university education for 5 years in Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife, Nigeria, Obawa University. My fellow OAU peeps, let me see you in the comments. Yeah, so I did nursing for 5 years in Nigeria, and I graduated in 2020, the COVID year, right? So in February 2020, I had my defense, right? And COVID struck in March. So we're supposed to do our induction shortly after, but because everyone was on lockdown, we had to go home and everything. So eventually we had to do a virtual induction. That broke my heart. Let's not even go there. Anyway, we had induction in September 2020, virtual induction. And yeah, so yeah, that was it. And after graduating in 2020, the next thing is supposed to be your 1-year internship in any recognized hospital in Nigeria that's been, certified by the Nursing and Midwifery Council of Nigeria to, take interns. So this was very difficult because, of course, COVID and, applying to different hospitals. There were many graduates, of course, and the little hospitals available that could take them. I hope that this gets better, really, because even till now, people are still struggling to get hospitals for placements. We shouldn't be. Really, it shouldn't be. Anyway, I finally got a place, UCH Ibadan, University College Hospital Ibadan, and I started my 1-year internship in February 2021. That lasted till January 2022. I'm just giving you a backstory, right, of my nursing journey before we jump right into how I, migrated to the United Kingdom. So I finished my internship in 2022 of January, and service was just right after in February 2022, right? Service is National Youth Service Corps for my non-Nigerians, right? So it's a 1-year service to your country, right? They post you to a state and they want you to serve the country there. So I was posted to Nasarawa State, the north. At first, I was like, why do I have to go this far? Like, really, you've heard stories about the north, how, this and that. First of all, it's far because I stay in the west. I stay in Lagos, but all my life has been the west, Ogun State, Osun, Oyo State, right? So going to the north was kind of whoosh. And people usually walk it, they'll, do something, leg transfer, what is that? But prior to, going to service, I had prayed to God that, He should direct my steps, and wherever He wants me to serve, I would go there, right? So, but seeing Nasarawa State, I was like, won't I redeploy? But my dad was not having it. He says, you are going to go where they put you. Anyway, so I went for 3 weeks in camp. And it was a good experience, really, overall. I met beautiful people, which we are still close to today, right? The weather was just a bit extreme. If it was cold, it was too cold. If it was hot, it was too hot. Yeah, so I finished camp and, I went further to my PPA and finished the 1 year in Nasarawa State. Now, finishing service, what next? I needed to get a job, right? Now, after getting After finishing service year, how do I secure a job? Started applying for roles, in different states. I was in Abuja at this time. After service year, my aunt stayed in Abuja, and I stayed with her right after service. I was hoping to get a job in Abuja, but it wasn't just coming forth, right? And the ones I even got, the offer was terrible. But one day, I think someone sent me a link to Babcock University Teaching Hospital, and that was in Ogun State. I lived in Lagos back home, and I was thinking, how am I going to just leave Lagos and go and stay in? So I did not think so much of the application. I just sent my CV and stuff. But to my surprise, I was called for interview. Okay, I was called for interview. I knew a couple of my mates that were also working there. I reached out, how do I prepare? What do I need to know? So I got there at the interview, and by God's grace, I got in. I was given the employment offer. So all this time in service year, even from internship, right, I had begun to, nurse the idea of leaving the country and progressing my career, furthering my career in the United Kingdom. So it was during internship in Ibadan that I wrote my IELTS, right? I wrote it in February of 2022. Before I finally left Ibadan, I wrote my IELTS. Now, what is IELTS? It is the International English Testing exam that you have to do. That's like the first step. There's a process which I'll be giving more details in my next video, the step-to-step process. But this is just really a rundown, right? So I wrote my IELTS. I sat for it. It's an exam that comprises of 4 parts. We have the reading, the listening, the speaking, and the writing. So these 4 components of the exam, you have to pass it and get a required band level to be able to, use the results for your application to study or work abroad, right? So I did this and I passed in one sitting, and I self-prepared really. I didn't need any tutor, physical tutor. Of course, my friends helped. We were studying together, but it was mainly a self-preparation. So I passed, right? And I registered with NMC, which is the Nursing and Midwifery Council of the United Kingdom. Opened an account with them and filled in my details, things like that. So the next thing was to do my CBT, computer-based tests. It is a test that you have to do in the next process to know if you would progress, right? So it comprises of, I think, about 100 objective questions, if I'm not mistaken, to test your knowledge about nursing generally. So I also did that, and this was in service year. There was a long gap between my IELTS and my CBT, and this was because I was trying to, gather funds. These exams cost a lot. So CBT cost £83 at the time. I'm not sure it's still the same. I think it's still the same price. So yeah, I was in service during this time in November 2022 when I sat for this exam, and I passed it. I passed. So you get your results immediately you finish the exam. So I passed, right? So yeah, those are the 2 major exams that I did here in Nigeria. So after you pass that, you can now progress to preparing for OSCE. I will talk about OSCE later, but these 2 exams are important. And the first thing, if you want to travel abroad as a Nigerian nurse, you must have an international passport. As easy as this sounds, many people don't have their passports and they say they want to travel out. How now? So please get your passports. I think it's much easier to register for it now. I think it's online. So get your international passports, and that really just opens you up to different international opportunities. That's like the starting point, if you want to travel, get your passport. And that's like just a step of it. The first step, get your passport, you know, register for your exams, prepare and pass them. Right, so I'll be stopping here for today. Join me for part 2 in the next video. You know, if you don't want to miss all the details and all the juice, please follow, like, subscribe, and put on your notification bell. And I will see you in the next video where I continue about my journey to migrating to the UK. I don't know how many parts this video will have really, because it's an awesome long journey. Yeah, but thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.